Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar going over partner tools for Workforce Development Month, which takes place during the month of September every year. And with me on the call, and you'll also hear from, is Dee Reinhardt and Kimberly.
Howdy. Hello.
And we'll go ahead and move to the next slide here, which will just show a short agenda of what we are covering. We got a lot to cover today, but we'll be going over the partner tools available on Illinois WorkNet, how to stay connected with the latest developments going on, how to become a partner with Illinois WorkNet, and then we'll have a Q&A session. And let's see, if you have any questions, throughout the webinar, feel free to add them into the chat and we'll be sure to answer them. With that, we'll go ahead and get started by covering some of the different quick start guides and just guides in general that we have on Illinois WorkNet. So what I want to show first is the virtual job fair guide, which some of you may be familiar with. And the way to get to that is to go to illinoisworknet.com, and you can go over to the partner site by clicking this icon here. And then on the partner homepage, if you scroll down to this global partner tools section and select the VJF guide right here. And this is the virtual job fair partner guide page, which has everything you need to know about the virtual job fair here. And on this page, we can just quickly go through it. We have a little description about Illinois WorkNet. If you have any questions, you can certainly email us about them. We have a link to how to get started on planning your event. And if we go here, we have quick start guides for that provides an overview of the virtual job fair planning process and guides for single employer events, multi-employer events, and if you're working with a state senator or rep, we also have guides on legislative events that we've been holding as well. And we'll talk a little bit more about the virtual job fair tool itself, but wanted to show this guide here. And just below this is partner guidance. We have some articles about virtual job fair tool, past training materials and video recordings, a full list of resources, which has anything from marketing and promoting to general instructions for job seekers, employers, and workforce partners, and many resources about promoting virtual job fairs, including a weekly report, which if you scroll down here, you can see how the numbers have grown since June of last year to last week. We've had a significant number of events that we can get into a little bit later when we're showing how to use the tool itself. And then we have a page for partner tool updates. But in the interest of time, we'll go back to the partner landing page and we'll hear a little bit more from Dee about the customer support center. But we also have a guide for the customer support center here, which is all our partner guides are set up the same way, where we have a little description about here, access to the tool through a link. And then under all resources, we have articles for guidance, partner training materials and videos, a full list of resources, and partner tool updates, updates that have been made to the tool over time. And through here, again, Dee will get into more of this, some of the different features that you have with the Customer Support Center, or as we call it, CSC guide. And then below this, we'll have upcoming sessions that will update from time to time. And so those are some of the quick start guides for our partners. We also wanted to point out some of our guides that you can use for job seekers. And so in the Illinois WorkNet menu, under updates and help, we do have a quick start guide. And this quick start guide is for job seekers. And we have a brief description and an accompanying video of how to get started in Illinois WorkNet. Once they've set up an account, they have access to a personalized dashboard that they can utilize to plan their career, connect to training programs, and so forth. Exploring careers, we have links to additional tools that we'll cover, such as assessments and interest surveys and career wages and trends. So job seekers can see some of the data about different occupations that are out there. We also have information and resources for planning for trainings, such as WIOA public and private training programs, which we'll also get into, and several guides, which we'll show in a moment here, for getting qualified to make sure they're qualified for that position. Using some of the resources we have, such as the the business startup guide and the Illinois WorkNet job finder to search for available careers that are available. Networking for success, be it through upcoming events, through the Illinois WorkNet calendar and workshops, or using the social media guide. This section job seekers can utilize, whether they're networking in person or online. And updates and help. This is where individuals can find additional assistance and other guides, such as individuals with disabilities or the Veterans Step Guide. We have that here, and you can also subscribe to our news, stay up to date on the latest news and other resources that are available. And since this is the quick start guide for job seekers, I also wanted to quickly point out the quick start guide for employers, which you can access from the WorkNet homepage. Under the employer section, we have explore resources, this tab here. And again, this will show how employers can get started with what's available on Illinois WorkNet, from getting started to recruiting and filling job openings, training resources that are available to them from employer-based training and other opportunities, layoff assistance. If the company is going through a layoff, they can receive assistance from available services. And then on the flip side, networking for success, they can follow Illinois WorkNet to find the latest and greatest trends for employers. They can see and attend upcoming events through the Illinois WorkNet calendar and follow the Illinois Virtual Job Club Network on LinkedIn. And they can also explore LMI, some of that labor market information from IDES and other resources or other organizations as well. And also from the Illinois WorkNet homepage, we have a couple other quick start guides. We have a similar one for job seekers. So what we saw before was more for individuals, no matter where they are in their career. But this quick start guide from the homepage is for job seekers. So how to get started in Illinois WorkNet, finding a job, networking for success, planning for training, getting qualified, exploring careers, and so forth. And additionally, we have one more guide that I want to cover under training and services. If you click find training button, we have the training opportunities that are available to Illinois residents and job seekers, from what's available on the community college level to training programs, whether they're WIOA approved or other public and private programs, apprenticeships, and additional guides and tools. We won't have time for this webinar to get into all of the guides, but some of the other guides I just want to make mention that we have is, if you open up the menu here, in each section, as a reminder, is no matter where somebody is in the job search process, they can jump in here and find the appropriate tools and resources and guides that they need. So whether they're getting started to exploring their careers, they can use the Explore Careers Guide, which will utilize some of the tools and resources in this section. And again, we'll talk about some of these a little bit later. Training and Credentials Guide, we have this as well included in here. Under Qualify for Jobs, we have several guides here: Preparing to Find a Job, getting everything in order, the Job Skills Guide, the Digital Literacy Guide, and the Resume Writing Guide. We'll open up what these guides look like so you can get a sense of what they all, how they all navigate. And so under the Resume Writing Guide, each slide will start with a table of contents, and we'll just introduce the user to what's available within this guide. And users can navigate through the guide by either selecting these arrows here or opening this drop-down menu here and selecting what they are interested in, what resource. And so we'll have a description about this, getting prepared to write your resume. And if they select the Learn More button, that'll link to an article or the tool itself with more information about that specific item in the guide. Okay, and that was the resume writing guide. I also wanted to point out, let's see, is there any more now? Okay, so then in the job openings and recruiting, we have the guide for starting a business. And then and we also have a guide for social media for employers. Under Network and Connect, we have guides for volunteers and social media for individuals. We also have one for layoff assistance. We have a layoff assistance guide for employees or job seekers. And then under updates and help, we have some of the guides that were mentioned earlier. We have that quick start guide. We have a money management guide. Returning citizens or individuals who have spent time away. And
previously incarcerated.
Previously incarcerated, yes. Thank you, Dee. And the veteran assistance guide as well.
And just to help David out here just a little bit, all of the guides are laid out in the same form and fashion, and you can use the arrows to move through them, or else you can use that hamburger to find all of the articles, because you might not need everything inside of one of the guides. And if you need to learn more or watch videos or any of that kind of stuff, it's just really useful. And it's something that you can hook your participants, your customers, whatever you call them, up to, especially like in the career centers, in the workNet centers. It's a fabulous way to help.
Thank you, Dee. And that wraps it up for the different guides we have. They're also available, in this menu, but also on the Illinois WorkNet homepage. If we scroll down to this guides and tools section, you click view more, then you'll get a listing of all the guides and additional resources we have available on Illinois WorkNet as well. And so next there were a few searches. We can go back to this menu here under Explore Careers. The first one I want to show is the career wages and trends, and we kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier, but on this page, job seekers can use LMI to plan for high school and beyond, complete job applications, prepare for interviews, and learn about some of the expectations going into a specific industry or job, such as the number of job openings, how much it could pay, if they need to relocate, or additional information, so they can search for a keyword here, or if they want to see what's available in an industry, they can select an industry here. And then what happens, there we go. What happens is there are careers that fall within this industry. You can see a listing here. And if we select one of these careers, we'll get information at a glance, such as the wages, the employment. Is there, a lot of opportunity here, or is it kind of a more limited and narrow industry? The expected tenure growth, is it going to be a growing industry or not? And kind of what to expect on annual openings. And we get a kind of at a glance here, what someone interested in, let's say, becoming an agricultural engineer would need to do, what those working conditions are for that position. You can get a sense of the median wage of that job and the employment and outlook. You can see the growth and number of annual openings, and at least in this case, it's very few. But you can also select these menus in here to see more information, such as helpful high school courses, what licensing and certification may be needed for the position, available training programs, and much more.
David, while you're still there on that page, I want to show everybody my very most favorite thing about this tool. Click on the job facts and wages, the brown box. Click on the wages and trends. Everybody always needs to know how much money they're needing to tell somebody that they want to make on a job. If they go in to this page on this tool, it shows you by the Champaign area or by whatever other area there is. If you scroll down on that page, doesn't it show you more?
It depends on the job. And so this one
Yes.
doesn't appear to that it has that much information from IDES.
Oh, because it's an agricultural engineer.
Yeah,
But if you go to a CNA job or a nurse or a teacher, it will show you wages across the entire state. And the 25th percentile is something that a beginning person in that job would use. A median wage is somebody that's got maybe 10 years of experience. And then a 75th percentile would be somebody like me that's ancient and was born when God was a child and could request that kind of money. So having somebody just come in and say, oh, I need to make X dollars. This is actual wage data that can back up that claim. And this comes in from IDES. So sorry to interrupt, David, but I had to show everybody that. That's my favorite piece of this tool.
No, thank you very much for pointing that out, Dee. The next resource here that I want to show is the demand occupation search, which we have been in the process of updating, so it may look a little bit different in the near future. But similarly with the demand occupations, so what are demand occupations? These are occupations that are considered in demand in the different workforce innovation areas. So we can search by keyword, by career cluster, the demand occupation tier. We can see these different listings here, 1 to 6, local priority, statewide, moderate, there's significant growth, middle skills, and advanced educations. We can also search by SOC code, or I think pathways is something that's going to be added here, as will education and on-the-job training. But you can see here, the title of the occupation that's in demand and the number of openings, education and on-the-job training that may be needed, and the median wage. And of course, you can filter, alphabetically or by annual openings, median wage, and so forth. And if we open up this, I think we'll see a little more information. So this is still kind of being updated, but wanted to point this out as a tool that job seekers can use as well. And moving on to the next couple searches that I want to show, we have you may mention to the WIOA approved training program search. And so these are training programs that are WIOA approved and eligible to receive WIOA funded training. And if we scroll down here, we can get a look at this tool that we can search by several different means. And what individuals can do, as they refine their search, they can also add a few of the training programs that may interest them based on their search parameters, and add up to 3 for comparison. And so when they find the 3 that they'd like to add, they can select that button there. And when they click compare, what will happen is a new page will open, and you can see the name of the training program. You can see a breakdown for each of these 3 programs, an overview, a description of the program, the training program type, more information about the provider, and program contact information. We can also see down here additional information that they can use to kind of narrow their choice when selecting or pursuing a WIOA training program. So similar to the WIOA training programs, we also have the the public and private training program search And these are post-secondary programs approved by ICCB and the Illinois Board of Higher Education. And they'll include public community colleges and universities, private colleges as well, technical and vocational, trade, arts and design schools, and adult education. And we can see here, if we select a training program here, we can find more, contact information and similar information to what we were seeing in the WIO approved training program search. Is it a public or private, the type of school, what degrees they offer, and additional information such as the student body, costs and fees, what financial aid might be available to, say veterans, and additional information about admissions, academics, and student services. Okay, and there's one more search that I want to show before I will turn things over to Kimberly, is the company layoff search. So under layoff assistance, we have the company layoff search. And so if a individual has gone through a layoff, what we have here is a tool that the individual can come through here and find, what their company is offering on, the local level for events, what services, resources are available as well. They'll have to fill out a questionnaire to connect to a local workforce partner near them, but they can search for the name or city of the layoff location, and then they'll receive, a listing here. And so, for example, if we just select this first company here, we can learn more information about this, about the layoff that this organization is experiencing. And again, they'll have to complete the questionnaire and then download the resources that are available to them to aid them as they're going through the layoff. But that is available through the layoff assistance part of the menu on Illinois WorkNet. And I believe now I will turn it over to Kimberly to talk a little bit about the event calendar.
Hi, everyone. So to get to the event calendar on Illinois WorkNet, you'll be on the home page and you can just go down and you can click on view events or add events. And so what I like about the event calendar is it's a way to be able to put all of the events that are throughout Illinois in one place. And so a lot of different LUIAs and WorkNet centers and even community organizations have a lot of great events going on, especially with the pandemic and places being closed or just trying to monitor how many people are inside. And so what happens with the event calendar is if an event isn't added by the WorkNet Center and we are subscribed to, say, their news blast, we will add it, the event. And so if you're a WorkNet Center employee and you know about upcoming events, say you know about one taking place tomorrow, you could always go to the event calendar on the day, click that, and you'll see what events are already listed. If your event is already on there, that's great. But if you don't see it listed, it's really simple to add your event. You would just go to add event. You would agree to accept the terms, and then you would complete the information. The required information, it really doesn't take long to add the event, and you would select like the event type. If it's an online, you would put the URL, description, contact. And then for like the series, say it's a part of Adult Education Week, you could add that, and you would put the audience. There's a flyer that's also great. And so with the event calendar, we say 2 to 5 business days for approving. We typically do already approve the events in less time. If you're a LUIA manager or coordinator, you would have probably seen an email come through regarding the approving a pending event that was added by an outside source. And so that just happens so that we review all the various events that are on the event calendar. We make sure that they are not, doesn't cost a lot of money. We typically try to do under 20, but almost all, like I would say about 99% of events are free that are listed. And then we make sure that they're not scams. And so the event calendar is nice because you can filter by your city or zip code, type in keywords, search by LUIA. And then the audiences, you can do it as a month view, or you could do it as a list view. Then whenever it comes to using the event calendar as partners, it's a really great way to get the word out about an event. I work on Illinois WorkNet's communication channels, and so I see a lot of inquiries about especially workshops. Like people are looking for workshops and they come to WorkNet, they're trying to find it within their zip code. Sometimes they can't find one, and so I'll go to the different WorkNet centers website and I'll find what event and I'll send it to them. But whenever it's already here, they'll send an email. And so that's why I really like that we have the contact person. So in case they do have a question about the event, they can find that all in one place. And so anybody can add an event to the Illinois WorkNet calendar. You would, if you're a partner, then that automatically goes through. If you're LUIA access, then the event doesn't go to pending. And so if you ever want us to talk about the event calendar or your event on social media and you have a flyer or anything, you can always send that to me or info@. And so another tool I wanted to talk about is the service finder on WorkNet. So the service finder, if you're logged into your WorkNet account and you have partner access, then you'll basically be able to, you can access the admin side of the service finder in two ways. Under the menu drop down, under network and connect, you can go to the service finder and you can go to add or edit locations, and that'll take you there. Or you can click on my dashboard under partner tools, and you can click on the service finder administration. So I have access to all sites, so it takes a little bit longer for mine to load. And so here you would just go to the site you're wanting to update. It would only show you the sites that you are a partner at. So I'm going to go to my offices so that I can update that. You would just type it in, you click edit. And so the most important fields are obviously going to be under the physical location information. And so if you're telling us why, it could be the 6-month update. And you always want to make sure that the site says that it is remaining active. Service available to, typically the site is already listed as how it should be. If you move or relocate, it's really important to update your street address. The service finder is how we use the help desk to help individuals and employers. So how we do that is we'll go and find their local center or local WIOA office. And by doing that, we use the city or zip code and type in what's near them. We try to do like under 25 miles. So I really think it's very strongly important to always have the correct organization street address, and especially the phone number, email address if that's possible, hours of operation, and definitely the website, because that way we can help the job seekers or employers be able to contact you guys, but especially with community organizations. And so on the main page, you're able to see and filter by what kind of services you're looking for. So we can go to all partners. And if you're looking for service for laid off workers, you can look in at what the various different types of services or just the audience. And then you can click search and it will pull up however you filtered, and you can see the different services and locations that are offered. And so you'll first see the Illinois WorkNet centers listed at the top. And then as you go down, you'll see other office locations near you, and that's typically the community organizations or state agencies. It's other different partners that are with workNet, but they're not the actual workNet center. And so with the service finder at administration, we require it to be updated every 6 months. And so if your site is overdue, you'll receive an email. That's an automatic email sent. And so we just make sure the information is updated and accurate, because that's what we display to the public. And that is also what we are sharing, as we get a lot of messages each day from individuals, primarily all throughout Illinois. And so it's really nice to be able to find what services are offered at the WorkNet centers and the community organizations to help them with what they are looking for. And so on the service finder, you can go to the article and guides. And in this article, if you are looking for instructions on how to add a new site, adding or updating a site, if it's a WeOS site, the widgets, there's also user guide for finding services. And so it's really nice to be able to have this. So if you are working with an individual that is trying to find service, this can walk them kind of step by step. And then if you are needing to add a new site, if you're haven't been a partner yet, then there's step-by-step instructions that go over every single step, and it's easy to follow, and it's honestly easy to become a partner and add your site and maintain it as well.
One of the most important parts there, Kimberly, if you want to address keeping contacts up to date.
Yes, yes. And so that is a very big part, because whenever it comes to contacts, that's whenever the site, the person will receive the email for the 6 month through whoever is the primary and secondary contacts. And so on the Service Finder admin page on the contacts tab, always check for the primary and the secondary to make sure that they are still with the agency or they're still with you. If they've left, definitely add a new contact. You can search their email to see if they have an account. If they don't have an account, then you will see, let me type it in. You'll see none of these people are a match. And so you can create an account on the fly. And so this is a relatively newer feature within the last 2 years, because people didn't have an account and they wanted, and a lot of the WorkNet centers needed to replace contacts. And so this has been a really great feature. Another great feature that a lot of job seekers and individuals like is the social media. And so the social media information that you're updating here will display on the service finder in, like, say that they have a Facebook at the Springfield WorkNet Center, so it's Carlinville. And so the IDES, they have Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And so that's one way that job seekers have been going to, finding what services are available online. And under audiences and services, you're able to update that which your location serves, if it has a specific type of audience, the different services or services for individuals, and their services for businesses. And you would just select all the counties that they are offered, or if they're statewide, and you would just either click save or save and add more. And then on the preview tab, you're able to see all the information that is displayed or that is on your sites. And you can click at the bottom if everything's correct for the 6 month update. You can click information is correct. And also, my other favorite feature about the Service Finder admin is the timeline. You're able to see who made the last update, what was updated, if they had a note, if there was a message. So whenever WeWo approved sites get updated, they don't automatically display to the public. That information, their information that was changed, is actually sent to Department of Commerce, and Department of Commerce is the one who approves the information. And so if you are on your site and you don't notice a name and you're not sure who updated it, it could have been either a workNet team member or a Department of Commerce or even a LUIA member who approved the changes, and they'll always make a note saying updating or approving. And so those are some of my favorite features about the Service Finder. It's great to be able to locate services near you, especially adding services that, say, your office works with. That's always a great place to be able to direct your customers to find what resources are near them. And with that, David or Dee, do you have anything to add about the event calendar or Service Finder?
I think that David ought to tell them about how they could embed a couple of tools onto their very own website.
Sure. So yeah, let me go ahead and take the screen for a few moments. So next, and what Dee was alluding to, the way that you could include the Service Finder or the event calendar, or a few other items that we have on Illinois WorkNet that you could include on your site is widgets, embeddable widgets. And so you can get to our page with more information about this by going to the footer on Illinois WorkNet and under About This Site, selecting embeddable widgets. And that'll take you to this page here. And so including widgets on your site is, it only takes a few minutes to customize it the way you'd like it to appear on your site. And the benefits to this would be that, for you, there's really no upkeep that you have to do. So if, for instance, you had the event calendar customized on your site, there wouldn't be anything you would need to do, no code changes, you don't have to, you just have to essentially copy and paste some code onto your site, and we have something that'll generate that code to you based on the parameters that you select. And that way, as information is added and updated, the customers and students that will use your site, they'll get the most up-to-date information. And you can customize the tool, the widget, to meet your needs and increase the information that you expand on your site. And so we do have an article here that talks a little bit about this, about the embeddable widgets. But over to the left, you'll see the different widgets that are available. So we have the event calendar, the article viewer, the job finder, related resources, which pulls in resources from the Illinois Open Education Resources site, or IOER. You can have it for Service Finder, success stories, and more. Down here, for instance, one that I recently used was the event calendar. So for example, if we select this, we'll see that this is how it would appear on the site that I would be using. And so to scroll down here to configure your own, we'll generate the code here. And so when we select this, that'll open up a new tab where we can then make those choices. So you could either have it listed as a month, and as you're making updates to this, it'll be reflected down here. So if you change it from a month to a list view, you can do so. You also have a minimalist view. And as you're making these changes, this code is updated here. And this is HTML code. And so you can select, for the event calendar, if you wanted, upcoming events for apprenticeships and parents, and let's say veterans. What you can do is you can select those filters there for the audience. You can select by grade level. You can add multiple ones. Field of interest or industry. Frequency, if it's weekly, monthly, quarterly event, you can also apply that, or series, or what we call significant events. So, events for Apprenticeship Week or Cybersecurity Awareness Month, or other, tags. You can add those here. And what will happen is this code will be updated down here, and all you'd have to do would be to copy this HTML code and paste it onto your site on the page that you want it to appear. And what will happen is this calendar would appear like this on your website. And you can do that for like I said, a variety of our tools here. The article viewer, job finder, the service finder as well. And you can customize it for, to meet the needs of your area. And you can also do that for success stories as well, which would be kind of a good segue into the next tool that we would like to cover here. So success stories. Let me get to the success stories page, which you can access on Illinois WorkNet by opening up the updates and help section of the menu, and then selecting success stories. And this will take you to a page explaining what are success stories. And these are testimonials that speak to the effectiveness of different programs and initiatives that are taking place in Illinois and how they impact communities on a local level for individuals, businesses, and communities. And so success stories, kind of give it a more personalized, take on an individual or organization's experience going through a WIOA or related program. And so on this page here, we can just get an overview of all the success stories that are available, such as the participant type, the different program types that are available, program details, and you can also do a geographic search. But if we select this submit a success story link here, this will have more information. You can submit, you have a short video here that goes into much more detail about success stories and what's available. But what you can do is, you can direct your customers, whether they're job seekers or an individual going through a program or an employer going through a program. They can log into an Illinois WorkNet account and submit a story. And you can also submit a story on behalf of a customer or employer. And what we have linked here and also down here, we have tips for writing a success story and how to make it really effective to convey the success of that experience. And so we have items such as, pretending that nobody knows anything about the program, make sure it's, short and concise to, really stress and emphasize the story, what makes it effective, the experiences and activities, giving it a meaningful title, a brief description of the background, how the program helped them achieve a goal. What did that program help them achieve? And how helpful the program was, were there certain individuals or what aspects of it, really helped that individual or organization achieve the goal that they were looking for. And we have guides for an individual writing their own, an employer writing their own, or if you're writing on behalf of an individual or business, or on your community. This is more for apprenticeships though. We have one pagers here, and when you open them up, you'll see just kind of that information broken down into one page and how to make it a great success story. And additionally, we may, Kimberly most likely, but we'll, from time to time also share the story on social media and tag your LWIA so that, the most number of eyes can, get on the story and see, what a great experience it was. And so circling back to a tool that I mentioned a little bit earlier on, virtual job fairs. So from the Illinois WorkNet homepage, we have different sections here for audiences, employers, job seekers, virtual job fair, and training and services. And we looked at some of these pages, but for the virtual job fair tool itself, if we select search virtual job fairs, or you can enter the URL illinoisworknet.com/virtual job fairs, you will be taken to the VJF landing page. And if you're an employer, you can go about setting up your virtual job fair, or if you're a job seeker, you can go about searching for one as well. So you can, if you have employers that are hiring, if they're not already using this tool, they can select set up virtual job fairs. And we'll have a quick start guide here that will have step-by-step instructions on how to get started. And so we have, just an introduction and overview of the tool, along with accompanying videos. How to get started, what they'll need to create an Illinois WorkNet account, and we have a link to create that account. And once they have received and confirmed their email, they'll be all set to submit an employer booth page. And once that employer booth page is approved, they'll be able to manage and edit it. And any updates that they make with the tool will be, reflected immediately on their employer booth listing. And then we also have articles about how employers who, if they have not participated in a virtual job fair before, how they can prepare and what to expect when attending, kind of do's and don'ts, best practices, and so forth. And then we have post-event follow-up and what's next. You've had your event, what are the next steps moving forward. And so we have this quick start guide here, and we also have an instructional handout covering this information. But when they go to submit a booth, they'll select the add booth button, and then they'll enter their information here. It's really straightforward information. Their organization's name, the number of positions they have, a link to the website, a link to the careers or job posting page, the job booth start and end date. And now this is the date that they want their booth to publicly show on Illinois WorkNet. And they can select they'll have to add a logo for their organization, a description, FEIN, that's optional. They do not have to enter that, but if they wanted to, that is an option they can enter. They'll add an address. They'll select the industries that best describe the open positions. And if they need to select more than one, they can also do that. And then they'll enter the employer contact name, their email, and their phone number. That way, if there are any job seekers that are interested in learning more information, they can reach out to this contact. And then they can also include links to social media. And then they can go ahead and save and submit their employer booth. And once they do submit their booth and it is approved, what will happen is it'll show up, go back to this virtual job fair landing page here. We'll scroll down. And this is the listing of the employer booths that are approved and active on Illinois WorkNet and the VJF tool. And so we'll see at a glance, their logo, the name of the company, its location. If it's, one that has multiple locations, we'll add the city and the number of positions that are available. And so for instance, if we open up this page here, we can see links to social media for Abbott, a link to their website, a link to the number and a link to the careers page for them, as well as the industries that they're hiring in, a description about the employer, employer contact information, upcoming virtual job fair. If they have any events scheduled, they can add a link here, which job seekers can then utilize to register for that event. And they can also click this view all events button, which will take them to the VJF events calendar page, which we'll see in a second. And for the events, after the events, if it's recorded, they can go ahead and add it to this section here. And it's just a link to YouTube, recording of their event. And if there's any additional documents or links about, perks and benefits, how to apply, any other information that they want job seekers to be aware of. They can include those as Word, PDF, or Excel files, or additional links to their website. And so if we go back to this list here, they can also, they can also filter through the results by entering a keyword. They can filter by industry, and they can also do a location search to see what's available near them. And something we have noted above that I want to point out is it may look like some employers don't really belong in your search, but there are organizations that offer remote working opportunities. And so if you see an employer booth page based on a location search that doesn't seem quite right, that is something to consider, that our organization offers fully remote work opportunities. And then if we go click this VJF events button here, this will open up the Illinois WorkNet event calendar. But this is filtered specifically to virtual job fairs. And so, for instance, we can select we see on the calendar entry here, we can select that. And then we'll see, the date and time of the event, the location, a link to register, more information about the event, and then a description about the virtual job fair, maybe what to do in advance or at the event, and what companies are participating, as well as contact information. And if it's hosted by Illinois WorkNet, it might look a little bit different. We've been using Eventbrite to register, but that'll change in the near future, but we'll have more information about that as it's made available. And some numbers that I do want to point out that Kimberly shared in the chat. We've held, at least through SIU, or Illinois WorkNet, I should say, I'm sorry. We have facilitated 154 events. And now these are for single employers or events with multiple employers. So we've completed 154 events. We've had almost 11,000 attendees visit these events in Zoom, which is where this is a webinar platform that we hold these events. And at the moment we have 640 active booths that are displaying here in this landing search. And for all the employer booths that we have in our system, there's over 40,000 job openings that are represented across all those booths. And so, we do ask, for our partners to, encourage organizations in their area who are hiring to come to the virtual job fair and submit an employer booth page. That way job seekers can see all the opportunities that are available as well. And if the employer, in some cases, they may want to hold the event completely on their own, that's perfectly fine. We ask that they, submit an event to the calendar and tag it with a virtual job fair series. But if they can also request assistance, and we've been doing that since this tool was rolled out last year. So, there is assistance, whether they're very familiar and savvy with Zoom and technology, or if they're, completely brand new to it, we can accommodate this through the virtual job fair tool. And with that, I will turn things over to Dee to talk about Employment 101.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to share my screen here and let you know, again, just a reminder that if you're looking for the partner tools, all you have to do is go to illinoisworknet.com, scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, and right here where it says partner resources, click there and it will take you to the partners page. And then you can see all of the global partner tools, what we have available for you, all of these guides for you to use, and then the special programs that are available for you. Now, many of you might know me. I've been with workforce development since 1998 when WIA sunrised onto the scene. So some of you may know me from my days in a local workforce development agency here in Northern Illinois. But what I've done for the past almost 11 years now is been working with Illinois WorkNet. And so I work as project manager for a lot of these special grants that come along. But one of the tools that I'm going to talk to you about real quickly right now is the Customer Support Center. And to be a partner with Illinois WorkNet opens up your ability to use the Customer Support Center. So you have to be a partner first. You have to have a partner agency second. And all of that kind of comes along with what Kimberly was talking about with the service finder and becoming a partner. And then even if you aren't an LWIA, or if you aren't a partner agency associated with a grant program, you can create a group in Illinois WorkNet and manage your customers. So that lets you keep track of your people. Now I'm logged into my customer support center as a test account right now, just so that I can show you a couple of the tools. And I'm going to go to the Apprenticeship Illinois program. And I'm going to click on one of the customers once it pops open here. One of the beauties of this tool is it allows you access to work that the participant, customer, client, whatever you guys call them, does on behalf of the program that you have them enrolled in. And on here, when you are, and I'm going to go to 9 test dog. And on here, it gives you access to their program. Now, different programs look different. So those pieces are all there. In the career plan, in many, many, many cases, you have services, resources, the things that that person is working on. But under their assessment piece, you have access to a number of assessments that are available for you to use for free. Many of these tools are on a participant's profile in different places. You may see an assessments tab up here at the top, or you would find it in their career plan. We have tracks for skills and interest. We have tracks for Employment 101. We have a self-evaluation, which is super quick to finish. It's based on employability skills. We have an observational evaluation that works with 16 different skills that participants should demonstrate. We have a work site evaluation that can be shared with their employer that also has customer and partner guides here. And then if you need to enter a TABE test or a Casey Life Skills test or any of those other pieces, those can all be entered under the other assessments. Now I want to go to Employment 101 and show you this. We just remodeled Employment 101. It's I want to say virtually brand new because it's only been live for maybe about 4 months now. One of the best features of this new version of Employment 101 is I can view the Employment 101 guide, and this is test, so it's not going to go to that customer's profile, but it lets me view this customer's Employment 101 as that customer. So if I need to check on them, check to see what they finished, where they're going with it, if they need a little bit of help, I get to log in as that customer in their profile. We also have access to a whole bunch of assessment tools. And if you go back to the partner page, click on the assessments, we have all of these online tools with guides for each of them. So we have a quick start guide, the skills and interest survey, takes you to an article where you can find some resources. We have 2 new skills and interest survey pieces, the reality check and the learning style survey. Both of those are really important for helping especially young people figure out what it is that they want to do with their life. Employment 101, we have an instructor guide and we have a participant guide that's available. NOCD, 21st Century Skills, is available for free for your participants. Some of you may use WorkKeys, some of you may use other assessment skills that measure reading, language, math, and essential employability skills. Well, this does it all in one spot. Self-evaluation, we talked about that. Those are based on the essential skills, observational, work site evaluation, and other evaluations. If you need to review any of these pieces, they're all right here under the assessments on the Workforce Partners page. We also have the instructions for the Customer Support Center. Becoming a partner, this is real important. So if you aren't already a partner, or if you know somebody that needs to be a partner, share this information with them. Now, what I also want to talk to you about is the fact of Employment 101 now can measure a pre-assessment, a post-assessment. I'm going to go to my profile real quick, my own personal profile, and go to show you very quickly what the new Employment 101 looks like. We have a pre-assessment, we have a guide, we have a post-assessment, and we've got the certificate. So the basic 4 steps didn't change. But what did change is inside of the guide, we have very interactive activities. We have a learning module that is a little bit of reading and a lot of activity. They can make notes. They can complete an activity that helps them create their starter plan. I do have a presentation that is happening or did happen with Forum for Excellence that we did a presentation about Employment 101. We have some new career tools that popped up because of the redevelopment of Employment 101. We have a job search organizer. It's one of the newer tools that we just created. It works on the principle of a Kaizen board. You can move your items from one column to another, archive them. You just drag and drop and it moves it around. We've got our standby resume builder that is available for users to use to create resumes, cover letters, portfolios, all sorts of different tools. One thing that you do need to do is advise your customers to update their portfolio because there is a shift happening with skills first. So if you haven't done that. Now, one of the things that you all need to remember or understand is that, I don't know if you've been around this long, but there used to be a certified Illinois WorkNet advisor course. I was certified years and years and years ago as a CWA. We've got a new version of that coming up really quickly. We're just waiting on some last minute approval and it will be out for you to update and have your partners within your organization become a certified Illinois WorkNet advisor. And it will take you through all of these tools that we just breezed through in the last hour. Now, I know we talked about a whole lot of information. All you really and truly need to remember is partner resources. In the menus, look for anything that says guide on it, and you will find what it is that you're looking for. I'm going to turn it back over to Kimberly to talk just a little bit about staying in touch. I think she put some information into the chat for you. about our live streams and about our social media platforms.
Hello, yes. Yeah, I put our links to our social media channels and on for when it comes to social media, we're really active and we in order to find us, you can either use the links or at the bottom of the page, where to use that, you can click and you'll be able to go directly to the social media channels. We have LinkedIn, a LinkedIn group, Facebook, Twitter, Eventbrite. You can subscribe to our Eventbrite channel and it'll let you know anytime we have an upcoming event. We have Pinterest, YouTube, of course. We upload recorded webinars, virtual job fairs, and tutorial videos. So that's another great one to subscribe to. And for Facebook and Twitter, and LinkedIn especially, we're really active and we'll follow the different WorkNet centers or your community organization. And if you have any information that you'd like to share on social media, feel free to reach out to me. I'll also put my email in the chat and I'll also put the info at email because I also manage that. And so I'm all about collaborating and trying any new ideas. And so feel free to send me anything if you'd like anything to be posted on social media.
Thank you, Kimberly. And while we're here in this section, you can also sign up to receive. Another way you can stay connected with WorkNet is to sign up and receive emails that we'll send out based on our different subscription lists. And so you just enter your email address here and click submit. And that would, whether you're signed into your account, it would either ask you to create an Illinois WorkNet account or you would be asked to sign into it, and you can you'll receive a message to manage your subscription settings. And another way you can do that if you're logged in is if you select the My Dashboard dropdown and then select Dashboard here. And under the section right up front, settings, you can update your new subscription settings. And when you click this, a small window will open up and you'll see which ones you're signed up to receive. And you can either receive them on a daily or weekly basis or remove yourself from that list. You can make those changes by selecting the appropriate option and then clicking save. And we have email lists. The ones we have as of this video include apprenticeship, business partners or for employers, disability works, Illinois WorkNet, layoff assistance, WIOA e-policy, WIOA works, and our workforce and education partners email list. And another thing I want to cover, I know we're kind of over time here, but did want to point out because it is important information to have, is how to become a partner with Illinois WorkNet. And so we saw the service finder a little bit earlier, but on the Illinois WorkNet homepage, you can either scroll down to guides and tools and select service finder or access it through the menu by selecting network and connect and then Illinois WorkNet service finder. And over here, we'll see, there's the ability to add we have the article here, service finder article and guides. And this article offers step-by-step instructions on the types of providers in the service finder, who is eligible to participate in the service finder, and how you can go about adding your organization in there. So you'll need to log into your account, navigate to the service finder page that we were just on, select the add or edit locations options. Then you'll complete and submit the location and service information, and then an Illinois WorkNet coordinator will review and approve or deny the site. And there may be additional questions to request or confirm information. And once approved, they'll be granted a partner account and a site will appear in the service finder. And there's also an instructional document that is located right here under resources, guides for adding a new site to the service finder. And this will just go through the process that we just briefly covered there. I'm going to turn it over to the Q&A portion now. So if you have any questions, feel free to add them in the chat. In the event that you don't have any questions right at the moment, there are other ways you can submit your questions on WorkNet. And so one of them is through the FAQ. And you can, on the Illinois WorkNet side of things, under updates and help in the menu, you can select FAQ. And through here, you can filter by audience or subject. And you can see the question and answers that we currently have on our site. If you have a question, you can select this plus button, enter your email address, and then under subcategory, you can select that. And then you can add a comment there and submit the question. And then we'll, once we have an answer for that and we have it posted, we'll reach back out to the individual who submitted it. And so this is for Illinois WorkNet, but we also have a partner FAQ page. So if we go over to the partner site, and then under the menu, if we select FAQs, this page will look very similar. So we'll have to select the workforce partners option for these FAQs to display. And then again, we can select the different subjects, and to submit a question, again, you add in your email address and select the subcategory and complete that form. And you can also, we also have a contact us form that's accessible in the footer, which is available on any Illinois WorkNet page. Under communications, we have contact us, and this page will take you to the form here where you'll enter your name, email address, zip code, and the reason for contacting. And we'll, you can include your question, comment, or concern and submit it through this form here. We also have some of the common questions from our individuals and job seekers and partners that you can open and see those answers and potentially links with more information. And what this will do is this will send an email, or our support will know and respond to this as soon as they're able. And there's also, and I believe it's been shared earlier in the webinar, if you can reach out to the support email through info@illinoisworknet.com, and we'll follow up within, how many days is it, Kimberly?
It's typically 2 to 3 business days. Sometimes especially if it's a really easy inquiry, we typically are only 1 to 2. But if it's something that we have to reach out for to find the answer, then it's typically 2 to 3.
Thank you, Kimberly. And I think that might be it. So unless there's something else that I'm forgetting, Kimberly.
Does anyone have any questions at all? You can either unmute or put them in the chat.
I don't see anybody typing anything. While we're giving them a moment to type, I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. We will be posting this recording on our YouTube channel, and it will be available on the partner pages. Happy Workforce Development Month. Please be sure to follow Illinois WorkNet on the social media channels that Kimberly put in to the chat. We'll leave that open just so that if you want to click on those after we've ended our presentation, our formal presentation, then they'll be there so that you can click and link. We do have a Wednesday live stream at around the 1 o'clock p.m. time, not always exactly at 1 o'clock, but real close. That always shows up on Facebook and YouTube. And if you have any particular topics that you would like us to address specifically, we are happy to do our live stream for you on a particular topic. So thanks, everybody, and have a great rest of your day. If we can help you figure out how to use one of our tools more effectively for your client base, please reach out to us and let us know how we can help. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.